Beautiful. Happy Tuesday. My name is Mori and I'm so happy that you're here live with me today. I like to share with you different insights and awarenesses about things that happen in my world. And so I want to share with you about this weekend because this weekend was very interesting. You know, we love doing family things and we have 3 kids and they're very, we have a 7, a 9, and an 11. So our 9 and our 11 are very much in the pre-teen stages. And so it seems like doing anything outside of the house in nature seems to feel like a struggle. And my 7-year-old, he can be all day long outside as much as possible. But what's really interesting, and I say this to them every time, is the few hours before we leave the house. It's such a nightmare because there's fighting and arguing, and I feel like I'm literally pulling teeth trying to get them in the car and out of the house. But yet the minute we get into the car and we start driving, and the minute we park the car in the park, in nature, in trees, by water, wherever it is that we are, the energy, the mood shifts completely. And it's like completely different people. If at home they bicker and fight with each other, when they're outside, they're best friends. If in the house they're kind of like all over the place, they're focused. They're out there. It's like a completely different person. It's almost like just being outside in nature changes everything around their body, their being, and who they are. And so what's interesting to me is, I don't know how much time you spend in nature. I try to spend a lot of time in nature because I just feel so connected to the earth, to the trees. I feel like I receive and my soul receives so much. But I'm curious how much of what you're rejecting to do, because you have a story about it in your head that it's going to be different. So when I was trying to, I was asking myself, like, why did they do this every time? Like, why do they fight so hard to go do something that they actually really enjoy? What is the process that their brain is going through that makes them not want to go do something that they actually love, that actually makes them feel good? What is that process in their head? And so I was kind of looking backwards to it. I was thinking, okay, well, what am I taking them away from? Their comfort zone. What are they going to have to do? They're probably going to have to change their clothes, right? They have to get dressed to get out of the house. They have to get some things, that they maybe need to take with them on the road so they're not bored on the ride. Maybe they have to bring a coat to keep them warm because it's cold outside right now. But what is the mental that they're going through? They're going to have to step out of their comfort zone. They're going to be taking the comfort out of what they're doing right now. So if right now, it's the weekend, they wake up, they get to watch their show, so they're going to have to turn off their screen. So it's taking them away from their screen, right? Something that maybe also gives them comfort. Us as humans, so many times we get so stuck in the comfort and the safety of our comfort that we don't realize what is waiting outside the door for us that can change everything for us. And we create this story in our head that somehow this comfort, this safe space that we created is so much better than what's out there. Even though we know that out there is better for us. Even though we know that we feel really good out there. We rather ignore all of that for the price of the comfort that you're experiencing in the moment. Now, how many times you've given up on living life in order to stay home in your pajamas and binge Netflix? Now, I know as a mom that you have so many responsibilities and living life alone is so overwhelming and so stressful and you have so much to do. But the thing is on that giant list that you have to do, you forget to actually live your life and enjoy the moment. And you forget that those little moments is what actually creates your life. Because in the end of your days, when you're laying on your deathbed, you're not going to think about the pile of laundry that you folded, or the pile of dishes that you didn't wash, or the clean house that you had. What are your kids going to remember? What kind of memories are they going to have? We tend to make the day-to-day mundane things life. And that's not what life is about. And we forget between working and providing and caring, we forget to actually experience and enjoy life. And I know that the older we get, the older our kids get, the harder it's probably going to be, especially with all the distractions. So what kind of foundation can you set right now for yourself that will then trickle down to your kids to actually enjoy your life? What are things that you used to love before you were a mom that maybe you don't do anymore? What are things that people that used to love to hang out with and you barely see now? What are things that you used to do with your husband before kids showed up that you never even get to do anymore? So think about this and ask yourself, how much more living can you do this week? How much more living can you do this month? What can you shift in your life? How can you find some extra time, even if it's 5 minutes, to do something for you, to remind you that you're not just this like worker bee, that you're not just a mom, that you're not just a provider, that you're also a person, and that you also matter, and that also you need to care for yourself. So play with that. I just finished teaching day 2 of the Burden of Eve masterclass, because what I realized teaching this class and having the reviews that people are leaving and the transformations that they're experiencing is that there's so much outside of us that dictates for us how we act in the present moment. And so much of the outer world we're not even aware of. And so the burden of Eve, it's exactly this. It's really releasing all those unseen, unknown energetic structures that are holding you back. Sometimes you keep confined in your house because part of these energetical structures that you have on you are holding you back and you're not even aware of it. So if this is something that you're dealing with and you feel like you keep hitting a wall, you keep feeling like a glass ceiling, you feel like you're confined in a way, like you keep self-sabotaging yourself, this is an amazing class to do, and it's completely free because this is the first time I'm running it, and I wanted every woman to have the opportunity to do this before I charge for it. So if you're feeling like you're kind of on the hamster wheel and you're not getting the things you want done, but nothing is really happening, and you're laying up at night thinking to yourself how much more you have on your list and how much you're not getting to it and how you're supposed to do all these things, but nothing is actually getting done, and you're super overwhelmed and the anxiety is up the roof, this class is really good for you because it will release the pressure that you are under on a daily basis. So there's a link in my bio. I would love for you to come play with me. Remember, it's up to you to choose you and break these cycles. And if you're watching this live and it's speaking to you, it's because it's meant for you. And if you know somebody that you believe could also use this information, please share it with them. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your week, and I hope to see you in the Burden of Eve. Bye.